All right. All right, welcome back, guys. Football season, it's here. Season one just started. Got through our first Thursday night game, and we're getting ready for Sunday. So this is Touchdown Times with Eli and Andrew, aka Savvy Sav and Alo. So just want to kind of give a quick rundown of the game that just happened the other night. Maybe talk about some of these other games that are going on this weekend. We just had our fantasy football draft as well, so pretty stoked to talk about that and see who lucky players we got and everything. Got a couple things with our betting corner as well. I'm excited, man, getting ready to spend a little money. Um, and yeah, go over a trivia question we had last week, some of our plans for the weekend, and overall just a quick little podcast just to get ready for the season. How you doing today, Andrew?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. I'm excited for the football season. We just had all of our fantasy football drafts. We had our first game. The Chiefs and the Lions really went at it. It was a close game. It was a great game to start off the season, really. What were some of the things you noticed within that first game, really?
I mean, first of all, Chiefs, they need Kelsey. Patrick Mahomes needs someone to throw to, man, because those wide receivers are not doing it. Uh, Especially like Kadarius Toney and stuff. They were dropping
Someone that
balls
can
left and
catch,
right.
man. Someone that
Exactly,
can
man.
catch.
Exactly. So I mean that, and then not having Chris Jones out there really let I think Goff and them step up. I really like the Lions how they looked out there. I feel like having their Gibbs and Montgomery share the backfield were pretty solid. Amon-Ra St. Brown's the real deal again. So I'm
Yeah.
glad I got him in one of my drafts. He's definitely gonna be pretty solid this year. So overall, I think a great game. I love to see the upset. I love to see a team like the Lions come out and kind of prove everyone wrong. So yeah, I thought it was an amazing game.
Yeah, it was a great game. A hard, tough win for the Lions. They go into Arrowhead, the loudest stadium in the NFL. On top of that, they played really well. Monstate Brown touchdown in the first half, really looking solid, like that number one receiver and target for Goff, right? And then you even see a little bit sunshine of Laporte in there stepping up at tight end. The backfield is really what was intriguing to me, right? We knew that it was going to be, who's going to get more touches, how are they going to play Gibbs in this offense. It still seems like they're still in that kind of like I running back or I formation running back where they just give it down the middle, and that's Montgomery style in my opinion. I think they need to switch it if they're going to use Gibbs effectively. They need to switch it up to a shotgun, single backfield, and just have everyone go deep and have Gibbs one-on-one with this guy. That guy is quick. He can outrun anybody. And that's why you draft him, right? To have someone to dump off to and have some open space and make some big plays, make someone miss and get some yards after contact. So it'll be interesting seeing Gibbs and Montgomery kind of sort out the backfield. In one of my leagues, it was a toss up for me, so I ended up drafting them both, Gibbs and Montgomery, for this exact reason. I think I did play Gibbs in one of my leagues, and I played Montgomery in the other. So I did get a little even aspect of it, but I think I'm definitely tending to lean more towards Montgomery until I see more of Gibbs, I would want to say, at least for fantasy for myself. But it was a great overall first game. How did you watch the first game? How did you do it? You were back at home? Did you go to a bar? How'd you
Yeah,
celebrate?
I mean, sadly, I had work later that night, so I ended up having to catch the game at home. But watched it with my roommate Michael and everything, and got to sit on the couch and enjoy it. Had some nachos from a local spot down the street, and yeah, just kind of enjoyed it at home and watched it on the big TV. So, um,
Nice, nice. Yeah, that's right. You guys got another. You guys got a new TV in the living room, right?
yeah. Just a nice little 75-inch TV put up there, so be able to catch all the games there. Got some extra TVs as well that we'll bring out on Sunday, so looking forward to that.
Yeah, yeah, that'll be a good time, man. Yeah, I watched it back at my house as well. Me and my roommate, Tristan, we got some pizza and just kind of watched the game and did some analysis there. So it was a good Thursday night way to end it. Nothing too crazy, but dude, I'm excited for these upcoming games, man. We got a couple primetime games. We got some matchups of the week. I gotta know what is one of the games that you're looking forward to the most this week.
Well, for the morning slate, it's gonna be great. We're gonna have 8 games on, so if you watch Red Zone, you probably get the Octobox and everything. It's gonna be awesome. But I'm really looking forward to seeing Cincinnati and Cleveland play each other. I
Mm,
think Cleveland having a fully fully well rested off season Deshaun Watson come out there and play. I want to see what him and the rest of his team with Cooper and Elijah Moore and then and Nick Chubb, of course, can do. And then
Mhm.
Cincinnati on their side, no Joe Burrow still kind of dealing with his injuries, but everyone's excited to see how Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, that wide receiving core, throw Joe Mixon out there. I think it's going to be a great battle of the offenses. I personally, I think Cincinnati's got it in the bag still, but Cleveland come in there and they could really make a storm up. So I'm pretty stoked to see that. I think it's just going to be a pretty good matchup within their division.
Yeah, yeah, of course. I mean, Cleveland's got one of the better offenses I've seen them have over the past 7 years, in my opinion. And Deshaun Watson at quarterback, Nick Chubb at running back, top 10, if not 7 running back for fantasy. And then you got some actual wide receiver weapons with Amari Cooper and Elijah Moore. These guys are downfield threats that Deshaun Watson has at his disposal now. So it'll be interesting to see how they come together and if they have that chemistry yet this early in the season. On the other side of the ball, Joey B, we know that this is a good team. They get it done. Their wide receiver our core are brilliant, and he's all about that quick pass, getting it out there. But they got Joe Mixon, and he can really switch it up with the run, and have that play action pass to really throw some defenses off. So it'll be a good game. We'll see which one's the better orange and black out of these two teams, right?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. That's good. It's always weird that those teams when they have similar colors. It's always all over the place on that screen, but
Exactly.
it'll be fun. It'll be fun.
Yeah, a matchup I'm really looking forward to. As you can tell, wearing my Steeler jersey for the first week of NFL season. I'm looking forward to watching my Steelers play San Francisco. This is going to be a great game. This is going to be the battle of the defenses, right? A really gutsy defensive battle. TJ Watt, Mika Fitzpatrick, Cam Hayward, and Joey Porter, some of these young players making their appearances, and it's going to be a good defensive battle. But San Fran's got a high-powered offense. McCaffrey's back there. I'm really interested to see if Brock Purdy can just put everything together and make it gel. They got all the weapons. I think George Kittle might be questionable this week, so fantasy owners watch out for that. But you still got Debo and Brandon Ayuk, and it's going to be a high-powered offense if Brock Purdy can get them put together. It'd be interesting to see, how they stack up against the Steelers' defense and the young Steelers' offense, right? Kenny Pickett going into his second year did a lot of work this offseason working with George Pickens and Deontay Johnson. It's going to be a good season. Najee Harris still back there, third year, very, first, second, third year, very young Pittsburgh Steelers team offensively. But I'm excited to see what happens, especially in this first game. It'll be a matchup for sure. What are your thoughts on this one here?
I mean, overall, like you were saying, I think it's going to be definitely a battle of the defenses. Both pretty young quarterbacks on each side. Obviously, Purdy's got he's got a lot more experience under the belt with going to the playoffs and everything last year. But I am really enjoying the Steelers' offense. I think they're young and they're hungry and they have a whole other extra year and an off season under their belt. So I think it's going to be like a slugfest. It's going to be down to the dirt, but I'm liking Pittsburgh on that one. I think they can come in and really make a statement. I think San Francisco might maybe come into the season just stumbling a little bit out the gates. So I think if now's the time, then now's the time. This is their chance, I think, to make a big statement.
Yeah, definitely make a big statement early in the year. Excited to watch that game. We're going to shift on over to your Eagles. Let it fly with Philadelphia and New England. What are your thoughts on them?
Hey man, so I've been looking forward to seeing the Eagles play ever since the Super Bowl. I want them to come back and really prove to the league that they're for real again. They didn't start any of their guys during preseason, and
That
I
is
think
interesting.
I did see some stats that teams that do not start any of their players have a losing record that opening week.
Oof.
So, regardless of that stat, I still think Philadelphia, they can come out and really show how explosive their offense is again. They pretty much retained a lot of their guys from last year. Jalen Hurts, I think, has had a really strong offseason, kind of carrying the weight of that Super Bowl loss on his back. I think they come in and they blow the doors off. New England's not going to be an easy challenge, though. I think they're probably going to be bottom of their division, just based off of their talent versus the rest. But I think it's going to be an overall good matchup. Interesting that they're playing in the afternoon. Normally, like these East Coast teams are usually playing in the morning, so
Mhm.
kind of be like an evening night game for them. But overall, I'm just looking forward to seeing the Eagles again. And like I said, I think they got it in the bag, but New England's defense is going to be tough. So I think this is a start to Philly's strong campaign to hopefully make it back. So we'll see how that goes down.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think I definitely think Philly has this one over New England. They just have all the weapons, right? Jalen Hurts, Swift. I gotta ask you. They have what, 4 running backs now? I mean, how do you think that's going to shake down for a lot of fantasy owners out there? I've got some questions around Kenneth Gainwell being the most utilized running back because he knows the system, and then Swift and the other running backs back there. Like, are they going to be played situational? You think? Are they going to be just cycled in and out to keep legs fresh? What's the Philadelphia running back situation mean for fantasy?
For fantasy, my rule for the Philadelphia is just never draft them. I don't ever think it's worth it just because they do love to rotate those guys. I think that's super beneficial when it comes to, actually playing the game and having fresh legs on each down. You never know who could go off, but that's the tough part too, is that for fantasy, you don't have a specific guy you want to go for. I think Swift is the starter. He is going to be the main guy taking the first reps and everything, but overall, they are going to rotate a lot, especially when they get to the goal line. And on top of that, Jalen Hurts can also run the ball like a madman.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's to me, it's just not worth touching that area. Maybe have one as a backup in case someone starts getting hurt, because that is the one concern I have for these guys. DeAndre Swift and Rashad Penny both have injury issues.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping that with the rotations and not having them being relied on as a workhorse, they should be able to stay healthy and fresh for most of the season. But if not, you still have Kenny G, and you also have Boston Scott. So I think it should be pretty solid, but once again, fantasy, stay away. Not worth it, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely. That's something to note for you fantasy managers out there. New England, they got some new, fresh people in New England. Ezekiel Elliott's there. I wonder how that affects Ramondre Stevenson and some of his touches there. You think he's going to get some of those goal line snags away, some of the touchdowns maybe away, but do you think he's going to be more of that 3-down back still for them? What's how do they distribute touches for the backfield in New England, would you say?
Personally, I think that he will steal some goal line. But overall, Roger Stevenson, I think, is still the 3-down guy. I
Agreed.
don't have as much faith in Zeke. However, I think I saw this morning the news broke that Ramondre Stevenson wasn't at practice today.
Interesting.
Apparently, he has an undisclosed illness.
Hmm.
A lot of people are saying that he's still going to be able to play, but there's a chance he may have reduced snap share. So just be mindful of that. I have Stevenson in a couple leagues, so I'm a little worried, but I'm just going to roll with it and see how week 1 goes.
Yeah, yeah, definitely something to monitor as we get closer to to Sunday and the weekend there. Let's shift gears here. We're going to talk Miami and the LA Chargers. This is something that was on my mind just because, I'm real close to SoFi. Tickets about 40-50 bucks, one of the cheaper games. It is a season opener. Still thinking, might be a possibility, but I'd like to see all the games, and that definitely takes my attention away from there. But it is going to be cool, seeing Tua, Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, those guys. Just I think this game is really going to be a shootout for this game here. LA Chargers, they did lose Cooper Kupp. For you fantasy managers out there, definitely switch out Cooper Kupp. He is not playing season opener in LA.
That was for the Rams, not the Chargers.
Oh shit, that's right. Sorry,
You're good.
apologize. Cut that out. Yeah, okay. But yeah. What are your thoughts for Miami and the Chargers then?
So for me, two high flying offenses. I love both wide receiver cores on each side. I think this game would be Miami's chance to return to their early season form last year. I think before Tua had his injury issues, they were one of the top offenses in the league. I love seeing Tyreek and Waddle out there just splitting time and running down the field. And, oh man, it's beautiful to watch, and it's just a high powered offense. And for fantasy, you guys are probably gonna love it. I think it's gonna be a shootout. Um, my pick, I'm gonna have to give it to Miami. I like the Chargers. I think they're solid. Justin Herbert is no laughing matter or anything, and he's got a great core, but for me, I think Miami can come in. There's probably going to be a lot of Miami fans there too. That's just a typical LA thing. There's just all the home games are usually away games. So I think it'll be interesting. But yeah, I'm going to have to go with Miami on that one.
I would beg to differ. I think Justin Herbert at home in LA. They got the weapons. They got Mike Williams. They got Keenan Allen. They can even throw, rookie wideouts, Quentin Johnson in there. It'd be nice to see him get some playing time. Austin Eckler is going to do well, especially at home. So I would beg to differ on this one. I definitely think Tua and company has a good matchup, and they definitely have a chance. But I'm going to give it to the Chargers, and hopefully they get a dub at home, in my opinion. But that's that.
Am I smelling a pizza bet? Is anyone interested in making a possible first season week
Sheesh.
one pizza bet over here? I
Oh
mean,
man,
I'll
we're gonna
take
get
Miami
fat on
straight
pizza,
up.
man. We're gonna
I'll
get
take Miami straight up, man. If you want to make that bet,
let's table that, and if we wanna look into the numbers there, then make that bet. After the cast, we'll
I
I'll
don't
let
need
you know by
numbers.
Sunday.
I
I'll
don't
let you
need
know by
numbers.
Sunday. I'll let you know by Sunday. Let's
All
do
right,
that.
all right, buddy. All right.
Speaking of Sunday, let's transition to the prime time Sunday night game. Dallas Cowboys versus New York Giants. Battle of the blue teams, right? Light
Yeah.
blue. We got Danny Dimes on one side, Dak Prescott. And yeah, I guess what are your thoughts on this one, man? It's gonna be late at night, it's gonna be in New York. I don't think weather's gonna play too much of a factor in this one, but what are your thoughts overall on this game here?
Man. So overall, first of all, NFC Beast. They're back. I think the NFC East is probably one of the best divisions, possibly in the NFL, but at least they're up there, especially from the past few years when they've been trash. So seeing these two guys, the Giants and Dallas, it's going to be a great matchup. I think it's a great first Sunday night game. Dallas coming in New York, seeing Dak come back. Man, I remember he got hurt first week last season. So I think seeing him come back and try to prove that he's still the number one guy there. I think they still have a solid offense to work with. But the New York Giants, man, they surprised some heads last year, making to the playoffs and winning that first game. So I think Danny Dimes can also come in. They did lose some guys. Who are the top guys right now? Because it's Darren Waller. They have
got
the big
Darren
acquisition.
Waller, they got Hodges, they got do they still have Slayton? I don't know. I don't even know their wideout receivers that much. Obviously, Saquon's there, Darren Waller. And then I know they have Hodges, but as far as their wide receiver core, I think they're pretty young and not so well known. But I mean, I think a lot of Danny Dimes' offense is, Saquon, as well as that short to medium kind of throws maybe to Waller. I guess we'll really see, because it's new having Waller in there. There's a couple different wideouts on the team now, so it'll be interesting to see how Danny Dimes really adjusts to that, and how the offense gets going. It's a good thing. I think it's good in their favor that they're at home in that, because I think if they were in Dallas and it was the other way around, it would be an uphill battle for the Giants there. But them being at home definitely plays a little bit of a factor there. Dallas, in my eyes, I think they got this one from Micah Parsons, just putting consistent pressure on Daniel Jones, forcing him to make those bad throws. And I think they will be throwing a lot. Saquon is one of those backs that leak out into the flats and get consistent passes, short yardage passes that turn into those explosive plays. So we'll see how the Dallas defense attempts to defend that. But they got a high powered offense, right? Tony Pollard is looking to be top 5 in fantasy this year. I'm really excited. I drafted him. Really excited to see how he does. He's going to be a huge asset to that offense. And then their wide receivers, you got CD Lamb, you got Brandon Cooks. And those guys are really speedsters, right? So it's going to be a good game. I'll be interested to see how it plays out Sunday night for that primetime game. Yeah. Any last words for Sunday night?
I mean, I got Dak in a few fantasy leagues, so
Are you starting him?
I am probably going to start him. Yeah, I think I'm going to start him.
I have him as my backup in one of my leagues, and obviously I got Jalen Hurts first, but I'm kind of leveraging him for trade pressure later on down the line if someone goes down.
I think that could be a solid trade offers from there. But overall, I mean, hey man, I'm an Eagles fan, so I hope both these teams lose. I don't know how that could happen, but maybe they could tie. That'd be the best case scenario for me.
All right, we got the Monday night game. That's next week, starting Monday night. We got Buffalo at New York Jets. Yeah, I've been keeping up with Hard Knocks. I'm buying into it, man. I really am. I think they can make playoffs this year, at least wild card. And I think they got a good team. They're making a run for it, in my opinion. I'd be willing to bet, this week that they're gonna make playoffs. And I think their first real test is Buffalo, right? They played them in. Did they play them in this preseason? They did, didn't they?
Um,
Think.
I don't remember seeing them on Hard Knocks playing them.
Let's see. Jets and Giants. No, it's Jets and Giants in the preseason.
Yeah, we could always cut this out too, but I don't think they did. But yeah, I think for Buffalo, New York, everyone's excited obviously to see Aaron Rodgers come out there, see what this young team can do with him. Man, I think overall, I'm gonna have to say Buffalo can come in and win this. I think New York Jets, they're gonna need a little time, I think, to pull it together in a real season action. But overall, Buffalo's, I just have a lot of more faith in Josh Allen right now. Personally, I do have love for the Jets, and I think I put a future on them. I think they can make the Super Bowl. I think they could do well down the playoffs. But starting out, I think Buffalo can come in to win that game, and that's just what I think. Like I said, yeah, Josh Allen coming in, James Cook being their top guy with running backs now, and then Stephon Diggs. I mean, Stephon Diggs is the man, and it's probably Sauce is probably going to be covering him, so I think that'll be an interesting matchup to
100%.
watch for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, overall, that's just what I'm going to have to say. I don't know. What do you think? You think Jets have this?
Yeah, I do think Jets have it. Maybe it's because I'm watching Hard Knocks and I'm drinking the Kool-Aid in that factor. But seeing Buffalo struggle in the preseason, even with the first string starters, was a little nerve-wracking in my opinion. On that, on top of that, Dalvin Cook, he's been with the Jets for roughly 2 weeks, a little over, been practicing for about 2 weeks, and he's going to be starting. They want to ease Brees Hall back into the mix, so I think Dalvin Cook's going to get a lot of touches this week. I have him as my flex for fantasy. I think he's a good flex play here. And then they got the weapons: Aaron Rodgers, Dalvin Cook, Brees Hall, Sauce Gardner. They got Quentin Johnson and the young number 17 Garrett Wilson. So we'll see how it plays out. I definitely think they have the weapons, but it's all about the chemistry and how they gel and how they groove. And I think they have the potential here. It's
I mean,
interesting.
talk about a defense to have to go up that first week, though. I mean, that's a real test on your offense.
Yeah. No, definitely, definitely. It'll be a good primetime game on Monday night. Something definitely to look forward to after the long weekend. So those are really the games that we are talking through this first upcoming week. We're real excited for all the games, but these ones are gonna be the ones we're paying attention to the most. Let's shift gears a little bit. We're gonna shift gears into fantasy. I know we all had a lot of fantasy drafts out there. And we can go into this a long time, but I guess what were your takeaways from your fantasy draft? What are some of the steals, some of the reaches? What were some of the things that you had surprise you this fantasy year?
So for this is for our league, the Degenerate Gentlemen's. So yeah, we did just have this a few nights ago. I think overall, I think it was a pretty normal draft. I had 10th, so I ended up getting back-to-back picks. I think everyone kind of lit up when I decided to go with CeeDee Lamb over a few other guys like Tony Pollard or Devontae Adams. But hey, man, I'm really liking that offense with Dak. So I think CD should be a pretty solid option with him.
So you believe in the pass game with Dak and
I
CeeDee
do.
Lamb more than the Tony Pollard run game and dump offs?
I do. I think that connection is
Interesting.
going to be back this year.
Hmm.
Um, but I think the overall thing that I liked was one of our buddies, Jared, in the league, sadly was not able to start the draft on time. So I think his first like 10 picks were auto drafted. But with that, looking through the list, this is what he has.
He ended up with Cooper Cup. And I know
Yeah.
that's a rough
Okay.
start.
Okay. No. So real rough start. Travis Kelsey out. Cooper
Out,
Cup out.
out.
Top two already out. So that's a rough start. All right. But if those guys
Uh,
come back and they're healthy, great team so far. but yeah, that's rough for that first week. DK Metcalf, Najee Harris, Damian Pierce, Christian Watson, DeAndre Hopkins, Jerry Judy, J.K.
out.
Dobbins, and Kirk Cousins. And I think he was able to start picking from there.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting auto draft team. I actually think he's projected to be first in our league, which is interesting.
That's just the numbers, though. That's just the
It's just
numbers.
numbers. It's just numbers. But we all like to see stuff to get us excited. So
Yeah.
yeah, that first week's gonna be rough for you, Jared. But I still think you got a good shot. So
Jared, you don't have a good shot. You're facing me. I got a stack team. Sorry. I might throw Dak your way because of the auto draft after week 1, but we'll see. You put up a good fight. We'll see. One of the things that surprised me the most in our draft was QB taken first round. Matt Evans. He took a QB first round. He took MVP, reigning Super Bowl champ Patty Mahomes, first round, first pick for Matt Evans at I believe he was ninth. Surprised all of us, kind of threw off the quarterback situation from there, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, I went from getting Jalen Hurts, what I thought I was going to get Jalen Hurts to now dropping down to Lamar Jackson, but it was still a good overall draft. I
that's
think
your guy, though,
as
man. You take Lamar Jackson like every year.
that was last year. Now he's
That's
got more weapons. You know what I mean? Like he spread the ball around a little bit more in this year. Like it'd be interesting to see how they play with Zay Flowers. I think I saw OBJ was questionable. I still think he'll suit up for week 1 and play, but I think the dynamic there is that OBJ is a big name. He'll get some short yardage like slants and outs, kind of quick work, even potentially for red zone. But Zay Flowers is really going to be that downfield threat, in my opinion. I think they'll both play a little bit of both, but he's got some speed, man. I think he ran a 4.40. And he's definitely got some speeds for a rookie. So it's going to be interesting to see the Ravens matchup again this week, and see how Lamar Jackson kind of adapts to all these weapons he has. Keep an eye on Mark Andrews. I did see he was questionable. Just continue to monitor that as we go into the weekend and Sunday. But the reach for me, one of the reaches for me, obviously, I'm a Steelers fan. I reached for George Pickens a little bit, but I have him in all 4 of my leagues. I truly, truly believe that he's going to be a star for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and this year he's really going to make an impact for them. I think having such a good young wide receiver make an impact for his first rookie year, and then carry that momentum over to his second year. It's going to be interesting to see how other teams try to guard him and play defense on him. So that's the one I reached for. Do you have a certain someone that you maybe was a favorite that you took early on, or did you just kind of play the board the whole way through?
I played the board a bit. One that fell to me that, hey, we'll see what happens. But I ended up getting Keenan Allen in the 5th. He ended up following me at the last pick of the 5th round. So, with him with the Chargers, I know he had his injury issues last year, but he hasn't had any off-season issues yet. So someone like Cooper Kupp and stuff, they have lingering things. Keenan Allen actually came back towards the end of last season and kind of exploded and took off. I think he's got 1 or 2 more years left in him at his prime. And I think that would probably be my quote unquote steal of the draft. But at the same time, it's a big risk. Week 1, he could go out there and tear something. I don't know.
Yeah,
So
his hamstring has always been bothering him. I think, I had him last year, and injuries is the name of the game for him. And if that hamstring, starts to flare up again, or he re-injures that, I think he's out for a couple weeks. And it seems to happen every year, at least twice, in my opinion, with Keenan Allen. I think that's why he dropped so low. But we'll see how he does this year. He's fresh, he's healthy. Looking forward to having his connection with Justin Herbert, and see how they do. And I'm hoping that Quentin Johnson gets some reps in there, and gets to prove why he was drafted so high as a wide receiver in this last year's draft. Yeah. So yeah, did you want to we implemented a new rule this year for our fantasy.
yes.
I think it's something that Eli has done in his other fantasies and brought over to ours. Why don't you tell the audience a little bit more about what we're implementing this year for our fantasy?
This is my favorite rule I've ever done so far. I don't know why, it's a blast. You have to like alcohol to enjoy this one, but it is the shotgun challenge. So essentially, if any of your starting players receive a 0 or a negative score, and this includes defenses, or if you decide to leave a player off and you have just an empty position there, you have the shotgun. This can stack. So if you get multiple zeros, it's multiple shotguns you need to do. Basically, you just do a shotgun, take a video of it, and send it to the group. So it's just kind of a punishment for making bad fantasy decisions. uh, but overall, it's a great time. I mean, my favorite part of the week is right before the new week starts. We get all of our shotgun videos being sent in by everyone who had a bad week. I think last year I think I did like 5 or 6 times. It was pretty bad. And it was back to back to back, man. I had a terrible luck. But overall, it's just fun, and you can see people get slowly more and more frustrated as the season goes on because someone keeps giving them zeros and keeps screwing them over, a bad defensive call or something like that. So yeah, it's just overall a good time. I love it, and I'm excited to have it in a second league. That could be dangerous for anyone who's in both leagues. Myself and Michael are in both, so if we have bad weeks on both ends, then it could be a lot of beers. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. It's something fun. It's something to get everybody involved, and I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of shotguns throughout the season and just seeing a lot of engagement throughout the fantasy and the league. So that's definitely something fun to look forward to. Why don't you take us away in the next portion here, Eli, and you can take us away.
Yeah. So just kind of wanted to run down our future fantasy talk. Obviously you could have whole podcasts dedicated to just fantasy. So for us, we're kind of going to keep more on the casual side. We'll probably just talk about usually top waiver wire pickups, what we like to see from guys who aren't rostered in most leagues. Maybe who's being traded for. Could be either in our league or other leagues that we see. Maybe possible trade discussions, and see the pros and cons, see each side. And obviously people from our league or anyone out there who wants to submit their trade ideas, and we can kind of go over that and give you some advice. Same thing with starts and situms. There's plenty of sleeper guys for the week and fringe guys you're deciding on. We'll probably go over maybe our own teams and then some things that we see throughout the week, whether it be in our own league, in other leagues, online, anything like that. Just fun discussion on maybe who could take the best spot there, who could not give you a zero, because it's kind of important now. But yeah, so I think that's overall what we'll do with fantasy. It shouldn't be too bad, and we won't take too much time up with that, but I think it should be overall a fun time.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Awesome.
so moving on from fantasy, we'll move over to my favorite part, the betting corner.
The
We'll
betting
talk about
corner.
football season's back. Pretty stoked to get my money down and try to win something here. So took my first bet, took the Lions plus 4.5. So got the first game right. Was happy with that. They ended up covering the spread and winning. So maybe one day I'll drop the money on the money line and see if I can win some more there. But happy with that. I wanted to talk about some upsets that I'm looking at this week. Usually for the upsets, it's anyone who is plus money on money line, which is basically they're the underdogs, and you can usually get paid a little more if they win. So the two that I like, I'm liking the Steelers. They're at plus 2.5,
Yes,
so
sir.
they're not favored to win. They're favored to lose by maybe 2 points. And then also the Giants at plus 3.5. Those are kind of my two guys I've been looking at. Steelers, just the fact that we had the conversation earlier, I think it's going to be a fight in the trenches. But I think if there's a chance, the Steelers are going to have to come out and come out swinging, show the 49ers that they're the real deal. 49ers, like I said, might be limping out the gate. They kind of had a rough time towards the end of the season last year. They kind of had their issues with quarterback. Brock Purdy's still kind of nursing an injury too. So I think it'll be an interesting game, but I like the Steelers at plus 2.5. Heck, take the money line, see if they can win that game. And then the Giants on the other side, home team, Sunday night. I think Dak and them can kind of crumble under pressure sometimes in prime time. So I like the Giants there. I think it's a fun little wager. I think they're plus 145. So if you bet like $100, you could win $145. That's kind of how that works with money line. So those are my two that I like. I probably will be putting some money on those two. But yeah, Andrew, any thoughts?
Yeah. No, I think I have the same thoughts as far as the Steelers. I'm a Steelers fan. I'm going to root for them, any which way. But I definitely think they have what it takes to go out there and really surprise all the 49ers fans and really, have a good season opener and put them in their place and really start the season strong. Same with the Giants, right? They're going uphill battle against Dallas here, but if they can pull it off, it would be a great way to start the season. Yeah, those kind of my thoughts for it. I did make a couple bets. One of my bets that I made, unfortunately, I did not come out on top. Was the Jamar Gibbs at 4 receptions? He only came away with 2. I think as fantasy managers, it was kind of rough watching Jamar Gibbs not being used the way that he's really intended to use. But it might be something that they look into after squeaking by 1 point to to Patty Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. But we'll see. We are introducing something new. It is going to be the survival pool discussions. Eli, you can tell us a little bit more about that. Why don't you get into survival pool discussions and kind of break down how that works?
Yeah, so survival pool. This could last all season or it could last 1 week. So basically the way it works is that I put us in an entry on my bookie in a survival pool. Well, basically you spend like $10 to buy in, right? You have to do it at the start of a season, and each week you have to pick one team to win a game, just straight up win a game. It could be any team. You could pick the best team in the league that week. However, the caveat is if you choose that team and you win, you move on to the next week, but you can't choose that team the rest of the season. So, if,
Interesting.
for example, the heavy favorite this week is the Ravens playing the Texans. Probably anyone playing the Texans are going to be heavy favorites this year. So with that, we choose the Ravens. They probably will end up winning. You can't pick the Ravens the rest of the year. And so you kind of have to be smart about the matchups that are going to be happening in the future, making sure that there's going to be teams on buys, teams with pretty bad matchups, even if they're good teams. So it's going to be more risky picking those teams. So essentially, you want to weigh the risk that you're taking. If you want to take the best teams now, you're going to have a tough time later on the season. Or if you take a riskier team that no one else is taking right now, you have a better shot at getting those easier matchups later on down the line. So
you're going to be mindful week to week as well as have that long-term vision of who they're playing. It's an interesting concept, not something that I've done before, but I'm definitely going to be diving deep into this and doing some research in the long run, because I can talk team week to week, but in the long run, I've never really planned about that for the season. So it's an interesting concept and something that I'm going to be diving and doing some research in for sure.
Yeah. So for this first week, I mean, we can have a quick discussion now. I have 3 options for you that I think are 3 different ways we can approach this. So the first one is the Ravens and the Texans. We take the Ravens. I think that's a lock. They should win this game. If not,
100%.
Ravens have some deep issues that they're going to have to figure out, but they should be able to win this game, especially going up against the rookie QB. Yeah, they should get this. So we could take the Ravens, but then we can't choose them the rest of the year. Ravens are projected to be a top team, correct? So then our middle option, still a favorite, but a team that maybe won't be the favorite the rest of the year too often. The Washington Commanders. They're playing against Arizona. Arizona, another bad team. They not looking good. They're probably going to tank this year. But I don't think Washington is going to be as heavily favored the rest of the season like the Ravens will. So that's another middle option where you have a heavy favorite, but maybe the team, you won't want to pick Washington that much later down the line. And then a risky one, I think, is the Falcons playing against Carolina. You have Desmond Ridder, Bijan Robinson, still a young team, but them going up against Carolina, who were one of the worst teams last year. They're starting their rookie QB with Bryce Young. I think that defense should be able to take care of them. But it is a risky play just because Falcons are also not that good. But if you pick them now and they win, you don't have to worry about picking them for the rest of the season, which I wouldn't want to pick the Falcons. So I don't know if you want to go just the middle of the road, take Washington.
I think the middle of the road is probably the smartest one right now, just because I think Atlanta, once they start gelling and once they start, having that chemistry with Bijan Robinson, and if they get Kyle Pitts involved and Drake London, I think they have potential. They definitely do. They're a young team still. They definitely have some potential, but I gotta see them play all together and see how the chemistry goes, because otherwise that one's a really risky one. So I feel safer taking Washington over Cardinals in this instance. You got Joshua Dobbs at quarterback for the Cardinals. They really only have the running back. Why am I blanking on his name?
Connor? Is Connor still there?
James Conner. They only really have James Conner in the backfield as far as offensive weapons, in my opinion. They have Marquise Brown, but Yeah, I don't think he's that crazy of a wideout and that much of a downfield threat, especially with Joshua Dobbs at quarterback. So I would feel more comfortable going Washington over Cardinals this week and starting it off with a little bit more confidence in that regard.
All right. So I gave you my three options. I think we're leaning towards the middle. I'll lock that in today. We'll have that settled, and yeah, hopefully we win. I may do a side one and do a separate entry for myself, and I may be risky on that one, but hey, we'll see what happens. But yeah, so the official touchdown time survival pool lock is going to be Washington beating the Arizona Cardinals. So
There it is.
with that,
We
we'll
got
talk
the
about
survival
that.
pool.
Yeah, we'll talk about that each week. If hopefully we continue to move on. If not, then hey, we'll sit in our shame and feel bad. But I think they also have a like the fourth week of the season, they'll let you like buy back in, like to do a smaller pool. So hey, if things go bad the first 3 weeks, we can always try again. So
Nice. Cool. Cool. We are going to move into our trivia question. Last week we had, where was the Super Bowl 50 taking place? We got a few answers. We got a few on Spotify as well as on Instagram. So thank you for submitting your answers. Why don't you tell them what the winning answer was there, Eli?
the winning answer was Santa Clara. And
Santa Clara.
Andrew, I believe you actually worked at the Super Bowl, correct?
I did. I did work Super Bowl 50. It was an amazing experience. Got to be a wayfinder. So I was basically directing people to their seats, the bathrooms, things like that. And it was a great experience just to be in the atmosphere and to see the field, and didn't get to see too much of the game where I was stationed, but it was still overall just a great experience to be in that atmosphere. And yeah, I think that was definitely the year that Cam Newton and the Panthers and the Broncos, Peyton Manning, went to the Super Bowl, and it was a great time. Santa Clara Super Bowl 50 was the answer. Thanks to everybody that submitted their answers there. We do have a new trivia question this week. Why don't you hit him with it, Eli?
Yeah, so to celebrate the first week of the season, we all love our favorite thing to watch on Sundays, which is NFL Red Zone. They basically play commercial-free football for 7 hours for the day, which is awesome. So our question is going to be, what year did Red Zone actually release? So our options is A, year 2000, B, 2009, C, 2012, or D, 2005. So go ahead and answer the poll. We'll see how many people can get it right. But yeah, looking forward to it, man. Just thinking about Red Zone already. I can't wait to sit on that couch for 7 hours.
Yeah. We got Red Zone coming out Sunday, and a few answers here: 2000, 2009, 2012, 2005. Submit your answers on our social media as well as Spotify. Check us out on YouTube. We're gonna get into some of the plans that we got going on this weekend. I'll start us off. I guess this weekend, Saturday, I'm really looking forward to hanging out with my buddy Rob. It is his birthday. We're going to be hitting the beach and then going out Saturday night. Sunday, all football all day Sunday. We got Red Zone going off. We got the Steelers playing. We got all 32 teams playing. Not all 32 teams, but we got most of the teams playing, and it'll be a good 7 hours of football. You got anything planned for either tonight or Saturday night up until football?
Well, I took work off tomorrow, so I have Saturday off. It's been a while since I've had one off, but going to see actually my first San Diego State game at their new stadium.
Let's
They
go.
built a new one, so I haven't been yet.
Nice.
So I'm gonna go see them play UCLA tomorrow. I think that'll be really fun. Going with some buddies from my fraternity. Gonna tailgate a bit, have some brews, and go check out the game. Maybe watch the UFC fights later that night too. I think it should be a pretty good bout. But then yeah, Sunday, man, I'm thinking about going to Costco early in the morning, picking up some stuff for some nachos. I love their nacho cheese, and just getting a bunch of ground beef and kind of working with what I can there. And then, yeah, buy a case of beer, go sit on my couch, probably pull out 3 TVs if I can. We got Sunday Ticket and Red Zone, so we'll have lots of streams going. And yeah, overall, man, just super stoked. It's gonna be a great day. And yeah, I've been looking forward to this weekend all year long.
Football season is back, baby. Let's go. We're excited for Sunday. We're excited for Monday and these primetime games. So it'll be a good it'll be a good Sunday. that really wraps up our podcast this week to kind of give you some pre-sight into next week. We are going to have our first live interview guest on air, so tune in next week to check out to see who that is. We're going to talk a little bit about their team, their fantasy team, their perspectives on how they think the season's going to go, everything like that. So it'll be good having someone else join us for the podcast coming next Thursday. We will be dropping podcasts every Thursday morning on Spotify and YouTube, as well as the trivia question. So tune in there. And then we're going to be making announcements on Instagram and TikTok. So make sure to follow us at Touchdown Times. Anything else you want to add before we let the viewers go?
Nah, man, just excited. Let's do this weekend, bro. Football is back.
All right, football is back. You heard it here at Touchdown Times. Tune in next week to find out who that guest appearance is, and we will catch you next week. Take care, guys.
See you guys later.